Good Sunday morning. This is March 5. Ooh, we're just a few days away from my birthday, which is the 13th. And next week, listen, we're going to be doing replays again because your boy is going to be in Dubai for his birthday. Follow me on Instagram right now. Follow P.I.L.L Method on Instagram right now. So you will be able to see our pics from Dubai, videos, reels, the whole 9 yards. We're going to be sending that back so you can see what's going on. I want you to know today, we were inspired for this particular show by the housing market. By the way, my name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And for 17 years, we've been helping people to understand amortization schedules, how to borrow money at a discount, how to leverage the heck out of that money and pay the bank back pennies on the dollar for the use of their money. I don't like paying retail for anything. Listen, we're going to show you how to get your money at a discount even after you've closed on the loan. How about this? You closed on the loan, you go back maybe a few months later, you met the P.I.L.L Method, and you say, I got this 75% off coupon. Now, I'd like to cash this in. Your bank has no choice but to honor it. Let's show you how to save that money, everybody. We got somebody on the stage. Broderick, how are you, sir? I see you raised your hand. And what is it? And if you're talking, we can't hear you. There you are.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. It's going well. What's up with you today?
Man, nothing much, man. I've been meaning to catch your shows, man, because you featured with my broker Janelle some months back. Janelle Compton here in Houston.
Okay.
We were talking about the P.I.L.L Method, so I just wanted to dive in much deeper and actually see what it takes, or what do I have to do to actually get maybe a one-on-one, so I can not only help myself, because I just bought a rental property, but I want to be able to provide my clients this service as well as a realtor.
Well, listen, man, all you have to do is start out by asking a few questions. All right. So anything you want to know about this process, about lending, you just ask. And I'd like to answer some of those questions today. Do you have time to hang around with us today?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. So what we're going to do, sir, is first of all, you're a realtor. How long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor for about 6 years now.
Okay. And listen, tell me, what have you heard about the P.I.L.L Method that gets you excited or makes you want to know more? Talk to us.
Man, the fact that you could basically omit majority of the interest and also get the loan paid down in a tremendous very, very shortly, basically.
Okay. So how do you want to be able to use this information with your clients?
So I want them to be able to know that I have access to this knowledge and I can show them how to implement it. And then that way, not only can they buy their primary residence, but they can start acquiring investment properties as well and do the same thing.
So when they get their property from you and then you show them how to get investment properties, which realtor do you want them to use?
Me? Me?
Come on, man. So listen, offering people that kind of service is going to be great. So I want to ask you a couple of questions and let you dive right in, but I've got to mention our girl, Crystal, who just came on the stage. Be Crystallized just came on. Miss Crystal, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How do you like this title? I paid too much for my house. Now what?
I like it. I mean, I think that's how a lot of people are about to feel, especially after this year.
Listen, and I need you to tell the folks what you do, Crystal, and give them some insight. Why do you think that this year is going to be the year that this is going to be a problem?
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Crystal Armstrong. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I am a licensed escrow officer in the state of Texas. I also am a signing agent, and I closed over 1,000 loans in 2021 and 2022. Oh, and over 1,500 in 2020. Um, and so, therefore, I've seen a lot of mortgages and a lot of interest rates. What I think is happening now is people are refinancing because they now need to cover additional debt that they have accumulated over the last couple of years due to the pandemic. And they're refinancing at really high interest rates to get extra money out, consolidating debt. And now they're adding all this debt onto their house, which is going to cause them to pay a significant amount more because they are not using the pill method.
Ah,
And after the evaluations, because a lot of what people are also paying is insurance and taxes.
mm.
So between insurance and tax increases, as well as adding on debt due to consolidations in their refi, they're going to end up paying significantly more. And a lot of people will find themselves upside down in the event that they want to sell.
Uh-oh. Now you got to tell us, what does upside down mean when you want to sell your house? What does that mean?
Upside down means that you owe more than your house appraises for.
Uh-oh. So if you owe more than what your house appraises for, then you may be trying to sell your house for 500,000 because that's what you need to pay off your loan, all right? And to make a little bit, but your house is only worth 425.
Correct.
So
Because you've
you go,
added a lot of extra debt on there.
oh. So now your house is worth 425. All right, but you need to sell it for 500,000 just to break even. You're not even making money on the deal at 500 grand, but you're 75,000 underwater. So if the best offer you're going to get for your house that's worth 425 is actually 425, that's the best offer you're going to get. So you have to bring $75,000 to the table to sell your own house.
Yes, and I was talking to one of my sorority sisters who's a bankruptcy attorney,
Mm-hmm.
and she was sharing with me that she has now acquired a couple of new clients. One lady is over $128,000 behind on her mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with all of those penalties and interest, she now owes probably more than her house appraises for.
Oh my goodness. You know, that is coming. That's coming. And what can we do to
And
prepare
that's going
for
to
it?
happen. Right. That's going to happen to a lot of people. So, I mean, bankruptcy is an option for some of them, which
Mm-hmm.
is if you haven't had the money to pay the mortgage over time. And also, what she was explaining to me how it works is when you're in bankruptcy, you have to make your payment to the court. And if the court deems you ineligible to qualify for what those payments are to get you caught up,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to let go of your house.
Oh my goodness. Listen, folks, we paid too much for y'all. Let me before we introduce a credit goddess and RB, the realtor, let me tell you one thing and one thing now, before we even get started and put this out here. You should never, ever feel bad about providing a house for your family when the market was white hot. And that was just what you needed to pay to get into the house. You overpaid for the house, yes, but nobody here blames you for that because you're providing a home for your family. There was additional information. We're going to provide additional information you didn't have before, so that so that you can now deal with the situation you're in and be better positioned to deal with situations in the future. It is not your fault that you didn't have all of the information if no one was providing the information. We want to make sure that this is a space where we can provide you information so that you can be better suited to navigate these financial waters better. But I want to make this abundantly clear. If the information you needed was not being supplied anywhere else, don't ever blame yourself for providing a house for your family. That's where we're going to start today. So, Credit Goddess, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I see you got your partner here. Y'all be doing some good work. Credit Goddess, will you please introduce yourself and tell the folks what you do and tell us what you think about this title?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, everyone. Happy Sunday. My name is Rose Laura Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess. I'm all things credit score improvement strategist. I'm also a business credit coach, NAV business loan broker, and an educator in the credit space. So let me see the title. I paid too much for my house, so now what?
Oh.
Oh man, it's so many different angles that I can approach this, but I mean, if you pay too much for your house, like you said, we're not blaming you for providing a home for your family, but if you pay too much for your house, I say, hey, get with the pill method. Apply that tactic so that way you don't have to be in that space where you're feeling like I'm paying for this house and I pay too much for it. Pay it off. Because if you understand what you're paying in interest costs over time for the house that you feel like you have overpaid for, I mean, if we add the interest on top of that, okay. So the goal is just to pay down the interest cost for borrowing that money to pay for that house, and then that way you don't feel as though you still have a debt that you owe, but you have a home that you finally own, where you can pass down to your children. That's all I got to say about that. But let's talk about strategies on how to pay off the home. Because now that we got a home for you and your family, is now to just pay it off so you can fully own it.
Exactly. So here's what I'm hearing you say. So if you're upside down, all right, because right now the market is softening in some places. Real estate is regional, folks. Here in Huntsville, Alabama, it's still white hot. There's still not enough housing here. But in other places around the country, it may be softening where houses are staying on the market a little bit longer. And and the buyers have more leverage to do what they need to do. And you might need, if you're in those areas and you need to sell your house, you may be in a position where the value of your house has dropped slightly. And it's going to cause some difficulty there. And what Credit Goddess was saying, listen, before that happens to you, right now you have a lot of interest that you're paying on the house. If you could pay less interest, that means more of your money would go to principal. You can prepay the principal and correct an upside down situation. We're going to talk about how you can turn our upside down situation into a right side up situation in a relatively short time. So we've got RB, the realtor here. RB, would you please introduce yourself to the folks and talk about and your views on this title today?
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's doing good today. How are you doing?
I'm on top of the world. I'm doing great this morning. Come on, RB, talk to me.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. So my name is RB, licensed realtor in the state of New York, buy and holds investor on the residential multifamily side, and a landlord operating in the long-term and short-term rental space with a passion for helping people to understand how to create generational wealth through the acquisition of real estate. I do have a whole bunch of things that are coming up. A mastermind for Women's History Month, a networking event that's happening in the month of April, and a free first-time homebuyer seminar that's sponsored by Dime Community Bank that's happening on March 25th. And we have a mastermind panel with myself, Tax Deed Wolf, Colleen, Sean from I Kept It Real Estate, as well as Russell Gray from the Greater Harlem Real Estate Board, talking about how to get off-market listings and things of that nature. And that's happening on March 18th, all of which you can find on rb10k.com or either go to the link in my Instagram bio. But to talk about paying too much for your house and now what? Well, you're going to have to learn how to create some revenue. I feel like from your property.
I was gonna say that, RB. Make some more money.
Let's
there
listen.
you go.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because with more revenue, RB, what could you do? What could you do if you had more revenue?
Well, you can click the link in my rb10k.com card because then you'll see how to produce a profitable property, which is one of our masterminds that we have coming up. But there's a lot of ways to create revenue from your property, the inside and the outside, whether it's a single family co-op condo or a multifamily. A lot of people have unusable space or underutilized space, and there's other people that need space that you're able to tap in with them so that you can provide them with what they need, because there's always a need for things that you might not need for somebody else. So whether it's space in the way of creating rental situations, whether you're utilizing the property to have it as something on peer space where you just have somebody do photo shoots, whether you have people use your yard space to do entertainment, whether you're using underutilized space for storage for other people, whether you're using the garage, the driveway for parking, whatever it is, there's 1,000 different ways for you to actually create revenue. And we do talk about that in my Producing a Profitable Property Mastermind that I have coming up this month. But, to be honest with you, you should be trying to generate revenue from your property at all times, even if it is your primary residence.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you couple that with the strategy that you have to pay down your house quicker,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a win. So, once you have an asset, there's so much you could do with it because you own it. And that's not the case when you rent something. So the biggest thing that you need to do is get yourself an asset. And even if the asset is a little bit more costly than what you expect, you find those different strategies that I can help you implement to be able to produce revenue. So that way your strategy is paying for itself while you implement the P.I.L.L method to pay it down quicker.
Okay, folks. So here's what we're talking about. Ian, who brought Ian up here? Somebody put a badge on him. Okay.
Oh, shoot, y'all. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I was coming in to introduce myself and say hello and add whatever I can. Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate it. Listen, RB, you listen, this whole thing is going to turn into a real thing because people, at the height of the market, paid way too much for their house. And now when things are getting soft, they may be in a situation where they're going to be upside down if they need to sell in the very near future. Folks, if you're not there yet and you want to see what you can do to prepare yourself to turn that ship right side up so that you can be in a better position to sell that house, all right, whether you can turn it all the way around or at least reduce the amount of negative equity. Can somebody explain negative equity? Because that's what we're talking about today and how we can get rid of it. Who can explain negative equity?
Isn't that when you're upside down?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So meaning that, so if you have negative equity, you owe more than the house is worth. So that's negative equity. We want to reduce that negative equity as much as possible and even become so that you can actually acquire positive equity. And you can do that in a relatively short time if you understand how an amortization schedule works and how you can take advantage of it. Ian, go on, folks. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks and tell us what you do, man.
Morning, sir. Thank you very much. Morning, everybody. My name's Ian Jensen. I am a real estate agent and real estate investor. I'm in Southern California right now. And what I do is I educate vets and service members about how to use their VA loan. That's our specialty. And so on my personal side, I got about 8 doors in circulation right now for my investments. And yeah, I'm happy to do whatever I can. I like it. I like the topic today. It's really, really good. I just had this conversation with a client of mine actually, because he's worried about the payment. Sorry, y'all, I'm walking up a hill. Walking with the dog first thing in the morning. You got me.
Okay.
So no, it was a funny thing because we were talking. He's worried about the payment, so he's going to get a extra family member to move in with him. And I told him that a good way for him to, if he's worried about it, to take that extra income from that because he can afford the payment. Take the extra income and throw that on top of the principal to start paying it down. To kind of talk about the subject matter that you're the expert in, right? So yeah, I'm great. I'm really happy to learn in and provide whatever I can right now.
All right, folks, we're going to be putting some things on the screen around that subject, but folks, there are several ways we can handle all of this, but we need to understand the main problem here in getting and dealing with turning negative equity into positive equity. So, Broderick, did you have a particular question about how all of this works today before we jump in?
No, I wouldn't say a particular question. I just want to get the information overall because, like I say, not only for myself but for my clients, because I do acquire a lot of my properties, no money out of pocket up front through the process, and when I refi, I take money out as well. So I leave with the check as well. So, and that's what I teach to a lot of my clients and students.
Okay, so folks, I'm going to put this on the screen and we're going to talk about this particular issue. And if you're in the audience and you have a question, please raise your hand. We have a lot of experts on stage that can handle this. We got some newbies in the room. I see some party hats, and congrats to you for being here this morning. And listen, follow your moderators. Some of you are brand new to this room. Follow your moderators, and anytime we're in a room, and you click that always bell, you will be notified, and then you can come in as well. So we are in the Mortgage Syndicate this morning. Mortgage Syndicate is basically on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. Eastern to 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. And this is the P.I.L.L Method Club, and we partner with the Mortgage Syndicate on Sundays. So you want to join our club and our house. So we have a house as well. Join our club, join our house, and follow me as the moderator. And we're going to give you some good information starting today. So let's go ahead and put something on the screen. And let me get this ready. So we're going to share the screen. And we want to do the entire screen, and there we go. So if you want to see this, all right, if you want to see what I'm putting on the screen, go to your secondary device, and like a laptop or a tablet, and you can search on YouTube P.I.L.L Method, and then you'll be able to see what we're talking about today. So if you're new to the room, that's what we're doing. We're live on social media. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn right now so that you can see the examples. So right now we're putting a $450,000 mortgage on screen right now at 6% interest, 360 months, that's 30 years, and let's see, $2,697.98 is the payment. So Kurt, can we go ahead and put that on the screen? And if we're having technical difficulties, you can send me a chat so we can see what's going on here. All right. So let me see. There we go. There it is. All right, folks. So Kurt Nugent is our engineer. He's bringing things up so that you can see what's happening. 450,000. So I want to know, while we're getting things ready, everybody, go ahead, share the room, ping a few people in here because they are going to want to see how we take care of this. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so that you can see what's going on. Here is the main problem with this loan right now. Any loan, okay, with any loan, is how much interest we're expected to pay. And it is my It is my goal to make sure that you understand how loans actually work so that you do not have to pay all of this interest. So the bank wants $521,272.80 interest on your $450,000 loan. So, folks, here's my first question. How in the world is $521,000 6% of the $450,000 you borrowed? Well, it's not. All 6% loans for 30 years. If you look over to the right here, all 6% loans for 30 years, total interest paid as a percentage of principal is actually 115.838%. The bank wants you to pay 115% more than you borrowed in interest, making this loan the total cost of the home over 30 years, $971,272. Here's my first question, everybody. Who in here that's on the stage, and I need you to respond, who in here wants to pay $971,000 for their $450,000 purchase? Okay? Who in here needs to do that? Who wants to do that? Does anybody want to do that? If you don't want to do that, say no. Okay? Put no in the chat. So somebody said
no.
Listen,
no for me.
She said heck no. Somebody said hell no. Credit Goddess said no. Nobody wants to pay $971,272.80 for their $450,000 purchase. If you are online right now, if you're online, okay, I need you to put something in the chat as well. Let me see your comments. And Ann, who's watching us on YouTube, says no. Okay, Yesi Contreras says no. All right, mi esposa habla español muy bien. She's getting me to work on my pronunciation. So I hope I pronounced Contreras correctly. And Taro Majors said no. All right. And now we have 17 people watching this online. I need you to see what's going on right now. The reason why, all right, and I need you to write this down if you're taking notes. The reason why anyone gets a loan for a house, or you can call it a mortgage, okay, it's to the true purpose is to purchase equity. You're purchasing equity. All right. I want a house. I don't have 450 grand. I go to the bank and they say, we provide a service. Here's the service we provide. We will purchase the house for you. You can buy it back from us. So the more you pay us, the more equity, the more potential equity you actually have until you have 100% equity. 100% equity means you have bought the house completely from the bank and now you're the owner. What I thought I was a homeowner when I moved in. Yeah, that's the term, but it's kind of misleading. The real term is home buyer. You're a home buyer when you move in, if you have not paid for the home, if you have not purchased all the equity from the bank. Okay, so you're a home buyer until that's done. So right now, you're not a homeowner. You'll become a homeowner when you can burn those mortgage papers and say, I'm done with you, bank. That's when you become a homeowner. All right. All right. So listen, folks, here's what we're talking about. I need you to see how we purchase equity from the bank and how all of this is set up. And we're going to break this down piece by piece. We have to see it piece by piece so that we can know what is actually going on. So I'm checking to see, we got somebody who wants to come to the stage. So if the moderators can kind of watch the stage for me and bring up people who've raised their hands. And so we can talk a little bit with anybody who wants to come up. So let me see here. Is there anybody else that wants to come up? All right, I'm checking. No. All right, folks, let's understand how to read this amortization schedule and how we purchase equity. And with this basic information, then we can use RB's ideas, Credit Goddess's ideas, anybody's ideas, so that we can turn this thing around and make a bad situation a lot better. All right, so here's how we're purchasing equity from the bank. On that very first payment of $2,697.98, when you make that payment to the bank, then you have just increased your potential equity by $447.98, meaning you have increased the distance between how much you owe and how much the house is worth. Okay. Or if you are upside down in the house, now you have decreased the amount of negative equity. All right, by $447.98. If you're trying to decrease the amount of negative equity by $447.98, but you have to pay the bank $2,250 in interest to get it. Do you see the dilemma here, folks? You're trying to turn a negative equity situation into a positive equity situation, and the bank has the nerve to charge you $2,250 in interest, and you borrowed the money from them because they had it, and they said, we're going to do you a favor. We're going to buy the house, and you can purchase it from us. You just pay us back at 6% interest. Well, let me show you something here about this 6% interest and how that works. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen, and you're saying, Don, if this 6% interest, why are they charging me $2,250 to do that? So here's what's going on. We're going to put the interest rate in. We're going to put the interest rate in the in my calculator, okay, which is 0.06. We're going to divide that by 12. We get a number here, 0.0005. Let me tell you, here's what the bank is doing with your loan. They're taking 1/12 of the interest rate and multiplying it by the unpaid balance to get the very next interest payment on the very next line of your amortization schedule. So if you're at payment number 1, then the bank wants to use $449,552.02, the remaining amount that you owe, to figure out how much interest you pay on the very next line of your schedule. So if you start out at $2,250 on line 1, then on line 2 of your schedule, your interest now is $2,247.76. Folks, that's not even $3 difference. Your interest cost per month didn't even go down by $3. It is so expensive. And well, let me put it this way. It's inefficient. You have all of this money. You have all of this money going to pay for the house, but only a few dollars of that money actually does the job you want it to do. You want your money to pay for your house. And the bank is in the business of taking your money so that they can build more houses for them. Is that why you got into this? To buy more houses for the bank? Or did you get into this to purchase a house for your family? Let's see what we can do about this, but we've got to understand what they're doing first. So we're going to take that 0.005. We're going to take the 6%. We're going to divide it by 12. And then we get 0.005, and we're going to multiply it by the principal balance. All right. So we're going to multiply this times 449,552.02 equals $2,247.76. This exactly what you have on line 2. That's exactly what's there on line 2. All right. So, Credit Goddess gave me some insights on this. I just took the formula that she gave me. I tweaked it a little bit. Credit Goddess, how do you like that part? Okay.
I like it.
Okay. I said, well, this is what my Asperger's brain sees. So let me turn it around in a way that I can understand it. And this is what we came up with. But $2,247. Now, what is actually going on, folks, is the bank isn't taking your $450,000 and somehow multiplying it by 6% to get how much interest you pay them each month. That's exactly how it doesn't work. What is actually happening is this. They're using a formula, all right? And let me bring up the formula that they're using. All right. So we're going to do this. The formula for amortization formula. Okay. Here it is. Here's the formula that they're using. They're using this formula because it's a way. It's just one way of probably thousands of ways. But here's one way that you can borrow money, get a payment you can afford so that you can pay off your house over 30 years. It's a formula that you can use. It's a way of doing it. But the way that it's set up is it takes too much of your dollars to run it, to make it work. So here's what we're doing. So let me go back to this. So we don't want it to work that way. All right. What we want to do is see how we can make it work better. So the bank says, oh, to make this work, let me bring up my calculator again. Every month, we're going to charge you 1/12 of the interest rate every month for 360 months. Essentially, it's not one mortgage because every time you change the principal balance, they have to charge you again. So isn't that a new amount? Isn't that a new fee? Isn't that a new mortgage? Are you paying one mortgage or are you paying 360 separate mortgages? And they get to charge you each and every time. So that when you see this happening, it is so inefficient that you give them over $31,000 in 1 year. $31,000 you will give the bank to pay for your house in 1 year. But out of that $31,000, $5,526 went to reduce your negative equity. Only $5,000 out of 30 grand. So folks, if you're negative, if you're upside down in your mortgage, how in the world are you going to fix it? By every year, you can only change your negative equity situation by $5,500 out of 30 grand that you just gave the bank. Listen, I need to hear what you guys think about this. And understanding it for what it really is. I paid too much for my house. Now what? Here's the situation I'm in. Can I fix it? Can I fix it? Is there something that we can be done? All right. So now, here's what I need you to know. Looking at this, looking at how the bank uses this formula. All right. This formula was actually created in the 16th century. And it didn't become popularized in the United States until 1934. That's when they started using this formula. Out of all the formulas they could have used, they reached back all the way to the 16th century. All right. A mathematician called Fibonacci came up with this in the 16th century. And of all the ways to pay back a loan, they chose this way because it makes a lot of money. It gives you a payment you can afford but it takes too much interest out of your payment to make it run. Oh my goodness. Let me put it to you another way. $2,250 in interest, $2,250 in interest. Let's take a look at that. All right. So in the very first month, $2,250 in interest. We're going to divide that by your total payment. Watch this. We're going to divide it by your total payment of $26.97.98. This is what you get. 83.3. That means 83 cents out of every payment dollar, your mortgage payment dollar, all right? The whole mortgage payment, 83 cents out of every one of those $2,600 to almost $2,700. Every single one of those dollars, 83 cents of that dollar went to interest. You're only purchasing your house with 17 cents out of every dollar. That's why if you're upside down in your house, it's going to be almost impossible to fix it just making the mortgage payment. We've got to do something else. What is the real problem here, folks? What is the real problem if I'm paying 83 cents out of every dollar in interest? Is what I paid for the house the problem? Is it trying to provide for my family the best way I knew how? Is that the problem? Were my eyes too big for my pocketbook? Was that the problem?
That one.
Or was my problem how much money they're charging me to use their money? Is that the problem? Oh my goodness, credit guys.
You know what?
Come on.
Okay, so
talk to me.
Okay. Because I'm always like thinking of all the different ways. And some people would say, you know what, this is highway robbery. But when we lend money to family and friends, we don't charge interest. It's free, right? And I wish that the banks would do that, but hey, they are in business to make money. But would you say the problem is that they put the amount of time to pay them back is the problem too? Because if we were purchasing a home and we didn't have the banks, we would have been saving up the money to buy the house full price, right? So we would aggressively save the money to buy the house because that's the only way, right?
Right.
So if the banks give us the money to get the house right now and we pay them back later, do you think the problem is that they gave us too much time to pay back the home? Even though what you're talking about right now, Ice, you're talking about how you can pay off the home in 7 years.
Right.
So what is really the problem? Is it the fact that they're comfortable with the idea of paying the house off in 30 years, that they're not going to aggressively pay it off in 7 years?
Credit goddess, that's a very good question, because I was in Houston this past week. I was in Houston and I was talking to middle schoolers, 8th graders. Okay. And believe it or not, talking about this subject, I actually got a standing ovation from 8th graders. Okay.
Really?
Yes, from 8th graders talking about finances. Okay, but here's what I told them. We put a $200,000 car that they would probably like a $200,000 car right next to a $200,000 house, and I told them to buy this car, if I wanted to finance the car, the bank is only going to give me 7 years to pay this car off. $200,000 car. But they'll give me 30 years to pay off a $200,000 house. They said, what? They listen, they're trying to understand. They're trying to understand at their age, why would anybody, if you could pay off a $200,000 car in 7 years, why would anybody pay on a $200,000 house for 30 years? Now, they're beginning at that age, they're beginning to ask the questions we should be asking now. But you are exactly right, Credit Goddess. We get so used to doing things a certain way, we don't ask the same questions a child would ask because they're still innocent. We've been conditioned to think this way. So I'm trying to provide some unconditioning so that we can do something a lot better. All right. We have
But you get a lot of pushback on that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, see, not from the kids, not from the kids.
Not from the kids, from the adults. You get a lot of pushback.
A lot of pushback because when you've learned something one way and you've been entrenched in that way for so long, you get a lot of pushback because it goes against everything that I've learned. Now I'm uncomfortable. I was comfortable, Don, and now you provided some other information that's going to cause me to think, and now I got to think, and now I got to make a new decision. Do I want to do the new thing, or do I want to keep doing the old thing I've always been doing? Now I got to make a choice. So the kids aren't making a choice. They're going to look at that and say, what? So I asked the kids, what is something you want to buy? What is something you want to buy? And they said, what if I wanted to buy some Nikes? I said, okay, let's buy some Nikes. All right. And so they said, well, I'll pay about $200 for these Nikes. I said, okay, I will lend you the money. So I brought 5 students up. To the front of the class and gave them $20 each. I gave them $100. So you're going to pay for these Nikes. You're going to pay me $100 payments for these $200 Nikes. I'm going to lend you the money so you can get the Nikes now, but you're going to pay me $100 a month to pay for the Nikes. And they said, okay. And so I said, well, when they did that, I said, now, if we're going to do this like your parents are doing or like other people are paying for their mortgage, where 80% of the payment you make goes to interest. So what I did, I said, this young lady here that's holding this $20, this goes down on your shoes. And then the rest of you go over there and sit in the bank because that $80 just went to the bank. It just went to me because I loaned you the money. They were incredulous. They said, oh, no, we're not trying to buy our Nikes like that. I said, well, that's how your parents are paying, are using their money to pay for the home. They're actually spending your inheritance on interest when $20 for your Nikes is paying for the Nikes and $80 goes to me, the bank, because I loaned you the money. They would have no part of it. Can you imagine when I opened up my bag and gave all the students one of my books? Do you know, listen, can you see 8th graders clamoring to get a book on finance? Listen, not even the teachers could believe it. So once they saw that and I signed the books for them, and listen, they were trying to get more than one. Oh, goodness.
That's awesome, Eyes.
This is what's happening. Especially when I told them, listen, I gave another 5 students $20. I gave another 5 students $20. And I said, now, here's how you're going to pay for these Nikes if I loan you the money. So once you make the initial payment and only $20 goes to the Nikes and $80 of that money goes to the bank in interest, and you have another $100. And I said, if you take this student, I said, if you give your $20 to that student over there, all right, that $20 you don't have to pay interest on because you gave it to them in the same month. So you can put this $20 on, and I got another student. That $20. So all 5 students were able to put their $20 directly on the Nikes because they had already paid interest for that month. So every single dollar went to principal. And so by the end, they had $120 on principal because now they're disrupting the bank's timing so that they can pay for the Nikes faster and cheaper, even though they borrowed the money under my terms. But there was a loophole in my terms, meaning any extra money you give me that month goes directly on the Nikes. Oh man, they got that book. I don't know if they read it, they took it home to their parents, or just what. But then I said, I need you to look it up. I need you to go ahead and look it up. So they looked it up online. They saw that it was on Amazon. They saw the pill method. They looked at that, and it says, and then somebody actually went on YouTube and said, how many views do I have on my channel? It's over 800,000 views on my channel, folks. This is what's going on. This is what the kids look at. So if your 8th graders can get excited about this process, I'm going to show you how you can get just as excited today. So, Credit Goddess, what do you think about that?
I love it. I love it. I was asked by the city here of Boynton. I'm going to have to use that tactic, that activity for the kids I have to teach down here, college and high school students. But I love it. I love it. If the kids can get excited about that information and early, imagine how they will be when it's time to start adulting and they learn this information from you. They're gonna always remember you, Don. We need to teach the kids to teach the parents.
Exactly.
And I get it, because once you start becoming an adult and you have all these responsibilities, you're on a go. And when you get into that space where you're like, okay, this is it's just on autopilot, right? And to have to change up and switch up is going to take a lot of strategizing, a lot of, new ideas and things like that. And sometimes it's just not enough brain cells to have to think of something new. So I get it. I totally get it. So while kids are fresh and they're not clouded with all the responsibilities and things like that, you got to catch them early. And if the parents don't have the time to do that, then this is why it's important for us to do this. So I applaud you on that. Good job.
Thank you so much. So, folks, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to refresh the room. We're going to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. Where are we? We're in the Mortgage Syndicate. Okay. All right. And this is the Mortgage Syndicate Club. Join the club if you're not a member of the club. Also, join the Pill Method Club. You can click on my profile, join the Pill Method Club and the Pill Method House. And the Pill Method House is called the ICE House. Okay. ICE stands for Interest Cancellation Expert. And we just I just gave you an example of what you can do with understanding how prepayment of principal actually works, so that 8th graders got excited about how they can borrow money at a discount to purchase Nikes. And they were excited about the book you see on the screen right now. It has been a 6-time #1 bestseller on Amazon. And it is called The Pill Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt. You have the basics right here in your hot little hands on understanding what the banks don't want you to know. All right. So we're going to get back to this example. I'm going to show you what you can do to fix your upside down situation, if that's where you are. All right. But also, if you want to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free, and if you're upside down in your house, if you would like to know the very month you would go into positive equity, the very month you go into positive equity in a very short period of time, you can know that by getting a savings and earnings report today. Okay. Get a savings and earnings report. Click on my link above, and when you click on that link, ice10k.com, ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. All right. All right. And let's see, I'm going to put that in the chat. ICE 10K. I'm online here, but you can, if you're on Clubhouse, you can just click the link. ICE. All right. 10K.com. All right. There you go. Now, you'll see a button there. When you open that up, you'll see a button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Fill that information out. Follow all of the directions. All right. Follow all of the directions, and make sure when you're putting your cell phone number in, all right, to get it verified, make sure your cell phone number goes right up against that one. Don't leave any spaces. No spaces when you're putting your telephone number in, and then get it verified. We'll send you a code as as a text message. Take the code, put it back into the website, and then click on I want to save now, and we'll let you into the room where you will get to see our financial form. Fill that out, and you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free, if that's your goal, with it usually within about 7 years. And I'm not talking about just the mortgage. I'm talking about the mortgage, the credit cards, the student loans, the car loans, all of it in about 7 years. And then we can turn that situation of you being upside down very quickly. And we'll be able to show you the very month you go into positive equity. That is going to be an awesome deal, folks. So listen, go ahead and now we're going to, if you heard something that sounds positive to you and you want to share this, listen, you can become an affiliate with the P.I.L.L method. Just click on the same link and it takes 15 seconds and you can become an affiliate for free. And then we will pay you when you send people our way. And all you have to do is make sure that the folks you send our way have at least $100,000 in debt and a mortgage. All right. And then we'll pay, once they become a client, we'll pay you $300. You don't have to sell anything. Just point them to the YouTube channel, have them watch some videos, and you follow up with them in 24 to 48 hours. And then ask them, do they want more information? They say yes. Go back to the 10K card. Go back to the 10K card. And there's another button that says, then you can fill that out. You can send us a referral. Send that referral card in with your name and number, and we'll make sure that you get credit for that referral. How about that? Can't be easier than that. Let's get back to this thing on understanding how to turn that around. Now, we just went over this, but I've got some comments online here. All right. We've got some comments online. Cindy Lee says, my daughter learned about, she's watching us on YouTube. Cindy Lee says, my daughter learned about stocks in the 6th grade and stayed focused on it. She's now in her 30s. The young age absorbs. Listen, these young people pick up on it. That's awesome. Okay. That is awesome. Anytime I can come to a school and talk to them, we're going to be all for it. Okay. Let me see. George Blevin says, this is new, but it's very interesting. That's what he says. All right. Let me see. What else do we have here? He says, what do you do if you only have enough to cover your bills every month? How do I make the extra payments? George, that is a very good question. And most people, here's what I know to be true. And you tell me this, Credit Goddess. The people do they pay exactly, to the penny, the money that they bring in, they spend exactly to the penny every month on their bills? Does anybody ever do that? I make $4,800 a month, and out of my $4,800 I bring home, every single penny pays bills. It comes exactly to $4,800. I've never seen it in my life, not once. Okay, you're either making more money than you're paying on your bills, or your bills are higher than your income. That's it. If your bills aren't higher than your income, then what we need to do, folks, is track your spending. That's a budget. Track your spending. How much are you spending on food? Write it down. How much are you spending on electricity? Write it down. How much are you paying for your insurance, for your TV? How much are you paying just to have a little fun with the family? Let's write that down as well. If you will track all of your spending, you will see that at the end of the month, there's some money left over. What you may be thinking is, it's not enough to actually do something with. Well, I'm going to show you, George, watching us on Facebook, that it only takes a little bit of money to kill a loan like this. A tiny amount of money. George, are you ready to see how a tiny amount of money can make a difference in this loan you see on the screen? Oh man, 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 man. So Adrian, watching us on YouTube, says home ownership seems so overrated and stressful right now. Yes, if you don't have all the information, Adrian, it can be stressful. But once you learn the rules to the game, okay? Here is what's going on with this loan. We don't know the rules to the game, so we think we have to purchase equity like this, but you don't. I'm going to show you how you can win at this game. All right. And says, love that. Love that. Kids seriously get it. Yes, they do. Dennis Glebe says, Don, looking. All right. He's going. I'm actually meeting with Dennis Glebe. He's looking forward to our meeting coming up on Monday. All right. And let's see. Adrian says, I hate. All right. This is going to be serious, folks. She says here, I hate. I lost my home due to arson. My interest rate was 2.5%. I'm without a home. I'm now looking to rebuild a different home on my lot or buy another home, but the interest rates are ridiculous. Adrian, let me tell you something right now, and I hope I get a chance to talk about this today. The higher interest rates when it comes to paying off mortgages are better than the lower interest rates. And I'll be able to show you that today. I'm not just talking out the other side of my mouth. The higher interest rates are actually more conducive to saving interest and paying off the home early than the lower interest rates. And I'm going to show you the numbers. Okay? Adrian, we're going to do that for you today so you can feel better. All right, you already lost the home because it burned down. Let's not add insult to injury with the high interest rates. All right. And because you can control not the interest rate, but you can control the interest cost, how much you actually spend on the interest. Okay. So let's jump right in. Let me show you what's going on with this thing, folks. I need to put the thing back on the screen and we're going to show you what I did with the kids. I gave them a scenario where they were buying Nikes, okay, $100 a month. And they were outraged at the fact that I was charging 80% of the payment they gave me. I was charging them the interest, 80% of the money they gave me. All right. But I showed them after they paid the 80%, what could happen after that. Every dollar that they gave me in the same month went to principal. They gave me another $20. They put another $20 on the Nikes. They put another $20 on the Nikes, and it didn't cost them anything. All 100% of the money they gave in that same month went to principal to pay off the Nikes. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to show you how that works right here, right now. So if we make a payment number one. Okay. I got a new young lady on the screen. Ms. Contreras, how do you pronounce your first name? If you want to speak, go ahead and hit that microphone in the lower right-hand corner and pronounce your first name for us. Maybe you can't speak right now.
I think it's pronounced Yancy.
Yancy?
Hi,
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yancy.
Yancy. Okay, Yancy. Did you have a question for us today?
Yancy. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, it's Yancy.
All right. Do you have a question for us?
Oh no, I just I'm learning a lot. So
Okay. Well, listen, you keep on learning, okay? All right, folks. I love it when people come to the stage. All right. Even just to say hi. That's quite all right. Thank you very much, Yancy, for coming up. We appreciate you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and mute your mic right now. And you just kind of hang out with us. All right, folks, let's get on this thing. So you make your very first payment. Let's say you make your first payment in January and you are upset that $447 out of your money, only 17 cents out of every dollar went to pay for your house, while 83 cents out of every dollar went to the bank to pay interest. Okay. How do you feel about that right now? Start inviting some folks in here so that they can see it. All right. So here's what else we're doing. I need you to see how much principal you would pay next month, February. How much principal you would pay next month. It would be $450.22. Remember the students I talked to in Houston. Remember that. All right. And if some, because I told them I was going to be online, and some of them may be watching this right now. And I want to say, I'm not going to mention what school it was. Okay. But I want to mention, to say hi to all the 8th graders I talked to in this last week. All right. In Houston. Thank you so much for allowing me to come into your space and to share with you. I hope you read the book. I hope you also shared it with your parents. Okay, so here's what we're talking about, folks. We got $450.22 going to principal. Here's my question, and I need you to put an answer in the chat, whether you're online or in Clubhouse. Do I have to wait? If I make my regular payment in January, do I have to wait till February to give the bank this $450.22? Yes or no? Do I have to wait till February to give the bank additional monies? Yes or no? Put it in the chat right now. Let's see it. I need some. Okay, I think I see some answers coming in. Oh man, they're saying nope, nope, nope. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. All right, let's see. Okay, the answers are coming in. All right, let me look online. All right, Cindy Lee says, yes, you do have to wait. All right, Beverly says, no, you don't have to wait. Cindy, I'm letting you know. The answer, overwhelmingly, I'm getting online on Clubhouse, and here is no, you do not have to wait. So here's what we mean, okay? You have something in your mortgage. If you have a mortgage, you have like 3 paragraphs in there. It's called your right to prepay principal. You have a right to prepay principal, meaning every time you make a mortgage payment, in the same month, you can give the bank additional monies, whether it's 10 cents, $10, or $1,000, whatever you want to do, you can give them money. Cindy says, okay, she gets it now. Maybe I just wasn't clear with the question, Cindy. Let's put it on me, okay? So here's what we're talking about, folks. If you do this, if you make your payment in January, what if you wanted to give the bank this $450.22 early? If you did, guess what? You're paid down to line 2 in January. All $450.22 goes to principal, all of it. And you don't have to pay a dime in interest to do that, because you're doing it at the same month. You've already given them interest. So you get to eliminate line 2 from your amortization schedule for only $450, not the $26.97 the bank is looking for. Number 2 is gone. You're paid down to here in 1 month. So we have just decreased our negative equity by $450.22 for free. For free. It didn't cost us anything to get rid of some of that negative equity. $450. Boom. I need you to see this. Now, this $2,247.76 in interest on line 2, that went away. You never have to pay it. Because you give the bank this $450.22 early, you just skipped a $2,247.76 payment you never have to make to the bank. I need you to put this in the chat. Has anybody ever explained how a mortgage works to you like this before? Yes or no? Has anybody else besides the P.I.L.L method explained how this mortgage works? Yes or no? I need you to put it in there right now. All right. Porter says no. All right. She okay. All right. Lipitwa says no. Lana Smith says no, sir. No one has ever explained that to us. Okay. Listen, how did that ever escape our educational service? Listen, folks, if you're hearing this for the first time, you really do need to follow me. You need to follow me if you're not following me, because we're going to have more information just like that. Listen, the no's just keep coming. And somebody said, Jordan Burton said, what? Are you kidding me? He says, Jordan says, I need to hear that again. All right, Jordan. Okay, Brent, Jordan, just for you, one more time. If you make a payment in January, you make your payment in January, and let's just say you have a few bucks in the bank, and he says, oh, I need to pay them February, $450.22. If I give that early in the same month in January, I'm paid down to line 2 in January, just like the students paying for the Nikes, and I get to skip this $2,247.76 in interest they wanted to charge me, but now I made it impossible for them to charge me because I gave them the money early. And my next mortgage payment for February is actually on line 3 of the schedule. You got rid of line 2 for only $450.22. That is what's happening. Folks, continue to share this room. Ping people in. Okay. We have about 60 people in here right now. Let's grow this room so other people can learn what we're doing. Now that you've learned this, what if you had a few more dollars in the bank? Now, somebody asked me about, what if you don't have any extra money? Okay. What if you found out, folks, that you can, at the end of the month, you have some extra money and you just put it in savings. Put some money in savings. All right. Let's say after you have some money in savings, out of all the money you have in savings, let's say when you make this mortgage payment, you have some money in savings and you have enough to put $450 on principal. That's one on line 2, on line 3 and line 4, 450, 452, and 454. What if you had enough money in savings to do that? What just happened? You just killed this $2,247, this $2,200 in interest. You killed this one on line 2 and killed this one on line 3. Almost $7,000 in interest got wiped out just because of that. Jordan says, damn, I should have told people in the beginning. Listen, you're going to see some stuff and it's going to make you want to say some bad words. He says, so I'm going to change it just a little bit. He said, dang, I thought I was pretty good with finance and I never heard of this. She says 100% he's following. He says, somebody says, what is the actual amount paid? The actual amount paid is this, sir. You make your full mortgage payment in any given month. Any other monies you give over and above your full mortgage payment goes directly to principal, and it makes it impossible for the bank to charge you interest. Okay? All right. Mikhail says, hello, Mr. Daniel. I'm on YouTube and I have a question. When you prepay, as you just said, do you have to pay the next payment for the next month or is it fulfilled? Yes, you have a payment every single month. Let me show you what happens, Mikhail Milford, what happens. So you do when you prepay just 1 month, okay? Your next payment is on line 3 for February. That would be your next payment for February. If you make your regular payment and then prepay 3 months of principal, now I want y'all to really listen to this, okay? Because we've been talking about, people have said, all you have to do is double up on your payments. You mean a full payment? No, just the principal payments, because that's the mortgage part. The mortgage payment only has to do with the principal column here. This interest column here is not mortgage payment. It's rent on your money. So we're trying to avoid that. So just give them back the principal you borrowed, but give it back in a way that you control the timing and you control the loan. You control the timing. I'll give you money when I get good and ready. I'm going to give it to you at a time where it makes it impossible for you, bank, to charge me interest on giving you the money back. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous the way that this is set up. I give $450 to pay down my house, and they get to charge me $2,247 in order to do it. That is ridiculous. All right. So listen, Mr. Vincent, don't come in here try to sell stuff. Okay. Get rid of you. Don't do that. All right. All right. So Contreras said, I did that. And in the first 2 years, we have paid 5 years of the mortgage just by adding the extra principal amount to the monthly payment. It is mind blowing. All right. But Yancy, here is going to be the kicker. Here is going to be the kicker. This is the kicker. How much interest did you actually pay? Whoo, Cindy Lee says, how many times can you do this? That's a good question. Sister, how many times can I do this? Cindy, what if I did this? All right, you said, how many times can I do this? Let me show you another example. I need you all to take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. I want to show you how you, out of your money, can eliminate negative equity much faster at a much lower cost. So 1 year into this, you would pay this loan down by $5,526.09. That's how much you will pay down this loan in 1 year. Look at how much interest the bank wants to charge you. $26,849.67 of your hard-earned money just to pay it down. Okay. So D Dove says, what's your account on YouTube? Go to P.I.L.L Method on YouTube. If you're new to the room, go to YouTube and search P.I.L.L Method, and you can see this online. All right. If you're new to the room. All right. So here's what we're talking about, folks. Here it is. Let's just say, Cindy, and this is for you. Cindy, I got a question for you. Okay. Get ready to type. If I know I'm going to give the bank $5,526.09, if I know I'm going to give that to them, all right? All right, so watch this. Listen to this. Do I have to pay them the $5,526 in 12 monthly installments? Do I have to pay it like they want me to? Yes or no, Cindy? Cindy Lee. Do I have to pay it in 12 monthly installments? Yes or no? All right. Anybody else can answer as well. Okay. But I just wanted Cindy to kind of feel like we were including her. Anybody else can say yes or no. That $5,000 that the bank wants me to pay them in 1 year, do I have to pay it in 12 monthly installments of the $400 payments that they want to take from me? Do I have to do it that way? Kathy Sims says no. Cindy Lee says no. So listen, folks, listen to this. So if I wanted to, then I could give them this. If I wanted to give it to them in 1 month, on the very first month, would I be paid down to right here in January in 1 month? Would I have $5,000 more in equity in just 1 month instead of waiting a whole year to give it to them? Valerie Robinson says no. George Blevin says, I don't know. George, I'm going to listen. Thank you for your honesty, but here's what's happening. You could give that money, if you had it, you could give them this money, $5,526.09. Let me show you what's happening here. Okay. Folks, it's as simple as this. I owe $450,000 on this mortgage, $450,000 on this mortgage. We're going to give the bank the $5,526.09 in 1 month, not over 1 year. So we're going to subtract the $5,526.09 in 1 month from what I owe, and it equals $444,473.91. The exact same number that's right here. So folks, if I had the money, why wait to get my equity? I can get it in 1 month. And my next mortgage payment, if I did that, would be on line 13 of this amortization schedule. I just knocked out 11 payments I never have to make. I just got $5,526 in equity, not for $26,000, but for the $2,250 on line one. I just got my $5,000 in equity, and I just saved $24,624.93. I never have to pay the bank. So you're getting your equity faster in 1 month, and you're getting it cheaper because we're not following the bank's program. Oh my goodness. This is just the basics, folks. This is just the basics. What if you had a computer program that takes a look at all of your finances at once and says, move this much money in this month on this day of the month and apply it to this loan. Here is how much interest you save, and here's how much equity you get for free without having to give the bank all that interest money, because now you are in charge of the loan, not them. Folks, if you want to turn a negative equity situation around, there are certain ways that you can do this. So, Credit Goddess, what if you could? You don't have to, in my system, you don't have to make extra money. But what if you did? What if you did make extra money? What if you did a little house hacking? What if you did do, Credit Guys, I've got my wife and I, we live in this house. It's 4 bedrooms. We've got guest rooms. It's just us. If I wanted to, could I put my extra bedroom on Airbnb? Or
Absolutely.
I could do that. I could make a little extra money.
Yeah, of course.
So what
It
if
only makes sense. It only makes sense. Like if we think about it, a lot of times if we kind of consciously think about it, the bills that we're paying is like, oh my gosh, I got to get up, go to work, make money, pay bills. But what if you have someone else paying it? This is where you open up the opportunity, like RB said earlier, creating a profitable property. If you have extra rooms that you're not using, why not turn it into an Airbnb, a short-term rental, and their money is paying your bills? It's all part of group economics. I think we need to start thinking more of that instead of just being responsible for all of the bills. Share the bills. That's my thought on that.
Well, listen, I just came, like I said, I just went to Houston, and my next car, I wanted to be an electric car. Okay. And I had my eye on, like a Tesla. So guess what I did when I got to Houston? I went on Turo and I rented a Tesla. I paid this guy who owns it. He's got this car he's not driving. And I rented it from him for 2 days. And I paid him. Do you have an extra car you can put on Turo or any other platform that's out there, ride sharing type platform? You can make extra money from renting out your car. People will pay you to rent your car. Take that money and some of that money and apply it to principal and save a ton of money. Let me show you something else. If people say, listen, I don't have a lot of money, Don. I don't have a lot of money, but you don't need a lot of money. So can you help me with this example, Credit Goddess? Can you help me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what I need, could you pull out a calculator, please?
Yep.
Okay. And in your calculator, I need you to put in your calculator $2,247.76.
2,400.
2,200.
Oh, 200.
$47.76.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now I'm going to put something in my calculator. If we prepay the $450.22, we don't have to pay all of that interest. But someone says, what if I don't have enough money? So I'm going to put $450 $450.22 in my calculator. Okay, let's say I only have half that. So I'm going to divide my 450 by 2. Okay, divide my 450 by 2. Now I have $225.11. If I can prepay that, how much interest would I save? So credit goddess, if you divide yours by 2, that tells us how much interest I can save with only $225.
$1,123.88.
Folks, is it still worth it? If I only have $225, if you have to stop looking at the principal balance. That is the distraction. How much you still owe. What we should be looking at is how much interest we're being charged and how I can get my equity for free. There you go. So credit cards, I don't have $225. Guess what? I'm dividing mine by 2 again. I'm dividing mine by 2. I only have $112.55. How much interest can I save that way? If you divide yours by 2 again?
$561.94.
Are you kidding me? Over $550 in interest I would save with only $112? Well, guess what? I don't have $112. I have half that. I have $56.27. Credit goddess, how much interest can I save with $56?
$280.97.
Lord have mercy. Come on. Are you kidding me? Where has this information been where I can take $56, invest it in my property, and save how much interest?
$280.97.
Lord have mercy. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. Can I do it one more time? Let me divide this by 2 one more time. Divide it by 2. Okay, divide it by 2 one more time. I have $28.13. $28.13. How much interest can I save with that?
$140.49.
Are you telling me so? A dinner at what is it? What is it? Something Bees. What's
Applebee's.
Applebee's. A dinner at Applebee's, $28. Okay, I could take that money and save me how much interest?
$140.49.
Wow. So folks, are you getting me, guy? That you don't need to have a lot of money. That's a distraction. Listen, I want to know what I can do at $14. Okay. I'll divide this by 2 one more time. I want to know what I can do at $14. See, there's no excuse, folks. There's no excuse not to prepay. Even if I have $14, I can save how much interest?
$74.
$74. My $14 applied to principal can save me $74 in interest. I never have to pay the bank. Our money, because this is the weakness in their system makes so much interest that because of the math they use, if we disrupt their timing, we save at the very same rate they're charging us. If they're supposed to charge you $2,247 in interest, you can fix it so that you save exactly the same $2,247 in interest they wanted to charge you. And now you're putting money on the debt and turning your negative equity situation into a positive equity situation a lot faster and a lot cheaper. Take your extra money that's left over from your bills. Take your extra money that you may get from renting something out. Take your extra money. Do you know there are people that if they live close to a stadium, they're renting their space around their house for parking? Come on, folks. There's several different ways we can take advantage of the property you're in to make sure that you can turn the negative equity that you have into positive equity in a very short time by using this math. All right, folks, I need to hear from you. Does anybody else have anything to say, anything to ask about this situation? All right. Because we have 30 minutes left in our 2-hour show. 30 minutes left in this 2-hour show. Is there anything else we can show you that will impress you enough to get a savings and earnings report? Because if you don't have another question, I have another example to show. All right. George Blevins online from Facebook says, can you do the same for auto loans and credit cards? You better believe you can. In fact, we want you to know that when you're working with the P.I.L.L method, you put in all of your debt, not just your mortgage. In fact, the more debt you have, I'll show you the better off you are. I can take somebody, believe it or not, credit goddess, if they can pay all their bills, I can help somebody pay off all of their debt faster if they have 13 different debts than if they had just one. That's right. If they have 13 different debts, I can help them to pay off all of that debt faster than if they just had one debt, just the mortgage. So the more you give me, the better off you are. Hide nothing, keep nothing back. Do not, you see, we get happy when people have a lot of consumer debt. And some people, when they come to us, they're a little embarrassed about the fact that they have a lot of consumer debt. Don't you ever feel that way. You come to us. We'll show you how you can leverage that consumer debt and turn it into wealth, turn it into a positive, turn it into something where you now have equity. Oh man, now you're talking about net worth. Right now you may have a negative net worth. How would you like to have a positive net worth within just a couple of years? That's what we're talking about, folks. All right. So George says, George, I hope that answers your question. We want all the debt. I want all of it. So I can show you what to do here. Go to P.I.L.L method, go to ice10k.com and click on getting a savings and earnings report today. All right. And I need to get a quick drink of water. And while I get a quick drink of water, I need you to hear from someone who has taken advantage of this program. And then I'm going to show you how you can get an excellent return on your money. Listen, folks, what is a good return on your money for you? 7%, 10%, 15%? I'm going to show you how you can get a guaranteed more than 100% on your money, return on your money, guaranteed. 100%. Would you like to make 100% on an investment guaranteed? I will show you in about a minute. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was E.T., the hip hop preacher. I mean, he's the #1 motivational speaker in the world right now. And he used the P.I.L.L method to make his wife feel so much better about the fact that their house is now paid off. So we have something from Weaver, the wrestler. And Weaver, I'll have you know that I wrestled in junior high, high school, and college. And my college wrestling days was at Western Michigan University. So if you're a collegiate wrestler, freestyle wrestler, congratulations. So he's on the other side of his mortgage now, where he has about $1,500 going to principal and only $500 going to interest. Can he use this methodology? So here's what you're looking at, Weaver. All right. So if you want to understand this, you have a certain amount of interest you have left to pay. So the question is, as I pay off my house, do I want, of all the interest I have left to pay, Do I want to pay even less than that? Okay, that's the question. Now, when you ask that question, when you look at how much money it's going to take to pay to pay off the interest that you have left, you have to look at how much interest can I save? But when you're in your situation, Weaver the wrestler, okay, Weaver wrestler, guess what? You also have to think about, could I use that money to invest to make more money somewhere else? When someone asks you, when you ask a financial question of any so-called expert, their first answer to you should be, I don't know. We have to do the math to figure it out. How much interest can you save because of your income, but also how much money could you make in the same amount of time you have left to pay on the mortgage? So we have to do some math. It's called opportunity cost calculations. I can use the money to save interest. How much? Or I can use the money to make interest in a safe investment. How much? And that will tell you if that's something you want to do that's going to be financially feasible for you. Now, if your goal is not specifically saving money, let's say you have a goal that says, I have to, I want to, I need to pay this house off sooner. I'm getting ready for retirement. We're moving out of the country. Whatever it is. Okay. Let's say it's not about making money. Maybe it's a goal of just having it paid off. The answer is then to you, yes, you can use the system to use your discretionary funds to add to principal, so you pay the house off cheaper. And the cheaper you pay off the house, the faster you pay off the house. Folks, the P.I.L.L method has never really ever been about paying off the mortgage fast or your debt fast. It's about paying it off cheap. I want to borrow money at a discount, so more of my money will go to principal because less of my money goes to interest. Weaver says, perfect. Thank you. Listen, anybody you want to contact us, go to pillmethod.com, go to pillmethod, ice10k.com, ice10k.com, reach out to us so that we can help you. All right. So I'm right here in Huntsville, Alabama, and another Huntsvillian just kind of sneaking into the room here. I don't know what he's doing down there. But Tiny Home Plug, what you doing, man?
I am actually driving down to Louisiana right now. I just hit I-65.
All right.
How you doing, man?
Doing good, Jeremy. Listen, we're talking about ways to make some money, all right, on our property. And in Huntsville, have you run into any zoning problems with putting a tiny home on your property and renting it out like an ADU? Is that a possibility?
Oh, absolutely a possibility. And depending on where the property, just like you said earlier, it depends where it's put at, if it's in the city or outside the city. I've been having some very effective meetings with the Housing Authority and the VA actually recently. So we're about to bring together some strategy for some new zoning to make it even more possible. But yeah, no, there's not much pushback. It all depends on the material makeup of the ADU. Depending on where the property's at, in or outside of Huntsville, like Monrovia area, rural areas like Hazel Green and all that. But if it's in Metro Huntsville, yeah, there's definitely some pushback, but it has to do with material makeup. So we just have to shift gears based on where that property is located at, and also to the CC&R of the property.
Well, I don't know much about that, but I do know that a lot of the neighborhoods in Huntsville, if you put an outbuilding of any type, it has to be of the same, like same color brick, the same kind of makeup. It has to match the property, the existing property. Is that something about what you're talking about? Because I know very little about it.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes, it's more so like with the CC&R, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions of the property. If it's like in Monrovia Harvest area, they don't mind if it's like a 20-foot shipping container or if it's a panelized cabin. They don't have too much issue with that. It's just a matter of making sure that a lot of folks as in Huntsville, they're slow moving as usual.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So there's no real issue with that. Sometimes it can be where they need to match that, but they don't care too much about it being like brick or it being a stick build or post and beam comparatively to panelized construction material like SIP panels. That or the containers. It's just that if it's the containers, then if that person wants that, then we can add on exteriors to that and beef it up as far as the insulation rating for that area. But yeah, everything goes back to that property and the easements, and just as far as as far as like how far back you can go and what makes the most sense. Because if you're adding something in the backyard, up in a landscape, that's how you and I met. but it's also too like with that in there, I'm thinking through like what can we make it out of and create a really good experience that has boundaries. Especially for it being in a backyard. What makes the most sense. So a lot of that material makeup goes back into the wall panels, the electrical, the plumbing, the foundation components of that based on that property and
Okay.
what they're willing to allow.
Okay. Well, listen, I got you there. So here's what we're looking at. I'm going to show one more example because I promise how people can get a fantastic return on their money, 100% return on your money, not just 10% or 15% or 25%, over 100% return on your money guaranteed. And I have you and RB here for the rest of the time. We're shutting it down at the bottom of the hour. All right. We need to talk about you don't need to make more money to get equity cheaper in your house and faster. But if you want to make more money, I'm glad I've got you guys here. Let's talk about those ways. Let me show you one thing here. One thing. Let's go back to the example. We're going to put it back on the screen. If you're new to the room, go to YouTube, search P.I.L.L method, and you can see what I'm getting ready to put on the screen right now. We're just going to look at the very first example we did before, okay? Where we're making our first mortgage payment here on this property. Where $447.98 is going to principal and $2,250 goes to interest. And we're looking at the principal payment in month 2. So let's say we made our first payment in January, principal payment in month 2, or which the bank was looking for in February. And we talked about paying that $450 early, paying it in January. If we pay it in January, that means because of how the amortization schedule is constructed, this is why people who work in real estate, work at the bank, work at your credit union, unless they do some outside study, they don't understand how an amortization schedule works. So the information we need to take advantage of the amortization schedule is not there for us. So it's not your fault that you don't know this. It's not being taught anywhere. So here's what we just found out. I can prepay $450.22 in the same month I make a regular payment. That means that's $2,247.76 in interest I don't ever have to pay. And my next mortgage payment is on line 3. I need you to see what happens, how you figure return on investment. Return on investment. Okay, so my return on investment, if you have to understand, a penny saved is a penny earned. That is very important. And I'm writing a whole thing on understanding that interest saved is still important money. Interest saved is important money because you're paying to get this equity otherwise. But if I can get the equity without paying the interest saved is real money that needs to be understood and appreciated. So I'm going to put the $2,247.76. All right. And I'm investing $450.22 into my equity. I'm giving that to the bank so I can get that additional equity or reduce my negative equity by another $450.22. So I divide it by $450.22. I move the decimal place 2 places right to here, and that's a 499% return on my money. I'm investing $450.22. I'm instantly got that equity for free, and I just reduced my overall interest cost on the house by exactly $2,247.76. That is a 490, that's 500% return on your money, folks. Why wouldn't you use $450 that way if you had it? Okay, listen, has anybody ever explained how an amortization schedule can work in your favor before? So in our last few minutes here, RB, I know you have a list of stuff people can do to to take their property and make it more profitable. Can you share with us some of the ideas and how can they get a hold of you to get to the entire list? RB, are you there with us? Until RB can come in. Jeremy, just give us some ideas of how we can use these tiny homes to make more money. You know?
Are we speaking in terms of a homeowner or a commercial?
Listen, we have a situation here that some of people who got their house at the height of the market paid more than asking price. And as the market softens, they're going to find themselves upside down in their property, especially if they're going to get ready to sell. We're looking at how can we make extra money through ADUs or tiny homes in general. Just give us some ideas how me as homeowner or even an investor can make some extra money with tiny homes.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing is about positioning in the demographic that you want to serve. There's ways you can do it with short-term rental and also too as a corporate housing. Because what's interesting is that with the ADU, depending on the square footage that you're allowed to put in the backyard, you can do short-term rental and package it, position it, do your own direct booking, do what you need to.
Okay.
But also as well with midterm stays.
Okay.
You can expedite that as well.
All right. So let's break it down. You said first, we can do what? We can do a short-term rental.
Correct.
We can do midterm stays. And what was the third one you mentioned?
Well, I was saying midterm stays as corporate housing.
Corporate housing.
So that way.
Break that down for me. What does that mean? Corporate housing. What does corporate housing mean?
Organizations being a master tenant and they have employees, whether they're on contract, whether they're, they're on contract, whether they're contractors, engineers, just traveling professionals. So they'll stay at 3 months at a time.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me I can contact somebody like Northrop Grumman or some of the other industries here around here in Huntsville? I can contact them and there's somebody in charge of finding housing for their employees they bring in for short stays?
Correct. And it's the person over the corporate buying side of the organization is who you need to reach out to establish that relationship with to become a.
Wow. The Matrix has you, man. The Matrix has you. Come back in as soon as you can.
Oh, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying that, remind me your question again. Sorry.
You were talking about how corporations, how you can contact them, who's in charge of that.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So the person who is over the corporate buying side of the organization is who you'll want to reach out and establish a relationship with and become an eligible.
There you go, folks. So, Jeremy, how can people get a hold of you if they're thinking about, listen, I don't want to be upside down and I got this property. What's the best way this is just one thing you could do if your covenants and restrictions and blah, 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 blah that you were talking about will allow me to put an ADU on my property, a tiny home, but that I can rent out either short-term rental, midterm, corporate rental, or even long term, how can they get a hold of you if this is one of the ways that they want to increase some income?
I think it should be a back channel, or go to tinyhomeplug.com and go to the contact page, and the application's right there. My calendar's the last question on the application.
Wow, wow, wow. Folks, we're talking about turning a negative equity situation. I paid too much for my house. Now what? What can I do? I showed you the math here, how you can get your equity a lot cheaper and a lot faster and turn this thing around. All right, RB, flash your mic when you can come in and give us some ideas about what we can do to make more money with our property. So, Credit Goddess, are you still here? Or are you talking to RB? Because listen, they have a lot.
That's probably it.
Yeah, listen, they're working on stuff, man. They're working on some fantastic stuff for people who. I need you to follow RB. I need you to follow Credit Goddess. Credit Goddess has a club here called Cream. RB is always doing fantastic networking events in New York. So if you're in the area, follow these folks. Follow these folks that we have on the stage here. Follow me, follow the club, follow P.I.L.L Method, and follow our house, the Ice House. And we're going to keep continuing to give you more information like this over and over and over again. Let me check the back channel. It says, P.I.L.L Method, can you explain? Oh, P.I.L.L Method stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. I explained that in my book, and we're going to go over that, my book, in just a second. All right. And so let's see here. Just listening. All right. Let's see. Cynthia, I'm on YouTube, but I don't see the live show. Can you tell me how to get there? Oh, you have to go to P.I.L.L Method. You have to search P.I.L.L Method. Put it in the search. All right. And then you'll be able to find it there. All right. And somebody asked, Mike asked, does the system work with a car payment? Yes, it most certainly does. We have people all the time. Daniel Cunningham, everyone buying a house right now is overpaying. That's just the housing market we're in. You're right about that. But you do not have to pay all the interest the bank is looking for and add insult to injury. All right. Let's see how you can get that equity in your property faster and cheaper. That's what this is all about. All right, D says, does it have to be at the same amount each month? Absolutely not. All right, our program will tell you exactly what to do and when. Let me bring the program on the screen for the last couple of minutes here. All right, so we're going to put a demo on the screen of what the program looks like and a little bit about how it works. So we're going to bring that up. Let me see if I've got any more. Cynthia McCarter says, or rent out a room to she says, rent out a room to a traveling nurse. Yes, yes, yes. You could do that as well. Traveling nurses, all right, they always, listen, they need a nice, comfortable stay, and they're no trouble. I mean, he or she is kind of working 12-hour shifts. They come home, they find something to eat, they come home and they go to sleep. No trouble whatsoever. All right. I've heard this. This is a good thing to do. Mike says, and that's what we're talking about. So live stream. Yep. Click on the live stream and you can see it. All right. So now I'm bringing over, and I've got 6 minutes left of your time, folks. I got 6 minutes left before we get out of here. So let me bring this over here. This is the opportunity cost calculator. And I'm going to reset this to something just very simple here. There it is. So we're going to bring that up so you can actually see what's going on. It's not the same thing every single month. David, look. All right, David, let me see if I can find your profile. And somebody says, I need to start blocking these people when they do this. So let me see how I can block them for coming in here and trying to sell stuff and then running out. So we're going to block you so you can't come back. All right. All right. And doop, boop, boop. There you go. and report. Don't come in here selling stuff. You know, we don't do that. All right. And there we go, and get rid of that. Get rid of that. So don't do that. Don't come in here selling stuff. All right. So folks, here you go. It's on the screen right now. And here's what's happening, just for anybody who wants to know. I'm going to cut to the chase. We track how much money you make and how much money you spend. And then the program says, out of the money you're able to save, we're starting this in January, but the program says by March 9, you should be able to have, John and Rebecca Jones here should have about $3,120 in their savings account. That's after all the bills are paid. And we also encourage each one of our clients to make sure you add to your budget how much money you want to spend on the family just to have some fun. Okay? You got to put that in. Now, Mr. Ramsey says that's last. Dave Ramsey says, we're not worried about fun until you get out of debt. No, you have to worry about your lifestyle and your sanity, okay, while you're working, so that you can add it to the budget when you can see how the numbers shake out. The problem with every other program is this, folks. You can't see the outcome at the beginning. With our program, you can see the outcome at the beginning. You can see that of the $227,000 that John and Rebecca owe, they're going to be able to save $179,000 in interest they don't have to pay. Therefore, they're going to be out of debt in 7.7 years with knowing how much money they want to spend on their family every month just to have some fun. How about that? Okay, so now we can see here that we just tell the program how much we're making and how much we're spending. And eventually we get to the point where we're telling the program, oh, the program says, take $2,002 and pay off your credit card to zero, and take $1,116.97 and put it on your mortgage. That's an extra principal payment. Then the program will calculate how much interest you save, $5,435.86. And the program tells you exactly how much money to put on to the penny. So you're eliminating the greatest amount of money in interest per dollar applied. I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. All right. And then I'm going to let the folks go online here, but know this. Let's put the information back up. Get a savings and earnings report. That's number one. Get a savings and earnings report. Go to ice10k.com and get a savings and earnings report. Buy the book also. You can use the same card to buy the book on Amazon, the P.I.L.L method, a better way to eliminate debt. You can also become an affiliate where you can send us referrals and get paid. Your referrals that you send us have to have at least $100,000 in debt and a mortgage, and then you are eligible to get paid. All the information on how to sign up to become a referral partner and how to send us referrals is on that card, ice10k.com. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're going to be back here on Wednesday with more information. Kurt Nugent is our engineer, our producer that makes everything run on the back end so that you guys can see everything. And I want you all to give him a great shout out and look him up as well if you want to do live videos to get your message out. See you guys on Wednesday.